Hey guys, this is Jose Baeza and welcome to another episode at our YouTube channel. And before we get started, make sure that you click on the like, subscribe, and the notifications button so that you can stay put to our new content that's coming up. And it's also going to help us big time with the algorithm. Today's topic is discussing some of the most creative ways that people have been able to use financing, having been able to use loans. We've all heard it before, other people's money, using other people's money. But what does that really mean? And also, how is it that you can get access to other people's money? And how can you really use it to the best of your ability? So that's what we're gonna go ahead and talk about today. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, today I want to talk about a specific success story, which is very near and dear to my heart, which is my mom's story. See, my mom happened to be just like you and I, an entrepreneur that wasn't really sure at some point how we were going to get started, but we really wanted to go ahead and be in business for ourselves. We would work hard for others, and we've always wanted to have that dream of ours of being able to choose our own schedule, being able to work hard and be able to see the fruits of our labor. And so that was my mom. But unfortunately, she didn't really know how to get started. So she started learning about entrepreneurship simply by watching me and watching me help others. And she would ask questions as to how do people get started? What are some of the ways that she can get started? And so before you knew it, a whole creative idea, a snowball started developing into a big boulder of snow, of such an abundance of ideas. Things were flowing, but then she got stuck. And that was in the money. She got access to capital using term loans and lines of credit. And that's the one thing that you're going to notice, that whenever anyone is starting a business, capital is always going to play a big part in any business, because capital is what makes the world go around. And at the end of the day, there's so many different types of money out there that you can get access to. There's scholarships, sponsorships, loans, there are collateral-based investments, angel investors, you name it. There's so many different programs out there, and money has never really been the issue. The challenging part that most entrepreneurs have is how to get access to it. And once you have access to it, how do you really use it to the best of their ability? So going back to my mom's story, she managed to receive about $100,000 in term loans and lines of credit. Now, the difference between term loans and lines of credit is that she was able to secure this using her personal income and her personal credit. Some people may say, well, Jose, why wasn't she able to get an SBA loan? Or maybe perhaps some of these other loans that are specifically made for people that are starting a business. Well, this happened to be during COVID. Unfortunately, she was already in the process. She had invested some of her money into the business, and before she could even open the doors, COVID happened. And when COVID happened, that put a lot of strain and a lot of stress in banks and other lending institutions that prohibited them from investing in high-risk businesses such as my mom's business. My mom was looking to start a restaurant. And so, long story short, when it comes to being able to figure out what's going to be the best program for you, you have to figure out what are some of the tools that you have at your disposal and what can you use. If you have good credit, there's so many programs out there that will give you access to credit. There, if you have good income, there's many programs that will look at that and they will see the income. They won't necessarily see the risk behind you if you have pretty good income or even revenues. A couple things is that through our other videos, we discuss so many different programs that are out there, such as SBA loans, ACH loans, term loans, lines of credit, business lines of credit. You have cash advances, you have hard money loans, you have startups, you have scholarships, you have sponsorships. So we're not going to go into detail with this video, but one of the things that we do want to go over is how are you able to use the money at your disposal. So if you're going for term loans, typically term loans are going to be given to you in a form of cash. It will give them to you in a form of an ACH deposit or even a wire transfer that goes directly from their bank account account to your personal bank account. Now, it's not under the business account, but it is under your personal. Having said that, because it is under your personal, keep in mind that you as a business owner, you have to be able to figure out how much of a risk you really are putting in there. Because if you know exactly what you're doing, then it's not going to be as much of a risk. But if you're not really sure, if you're just curious and you're starting a business, you have to really reconsider whether or not that you want something to show up on your personal credit. There is no reward without risk. So you got to be able to put some sort of risk. Either way, you're going to be risking something if you're getting a loan, even if it's under your business. With my mom, she managed to leverage her personal credit and her personal income because of the certain situations that were happening during COVID. Well, she managed to get about $100,000. That allowed her to get access to a location, hire employees, and also get all of her equipment that she really needed in order for her to get started. Another successful story, it's a pharmacist that purchased a pharmacy. Now, with this gentleman, he called me one night because he saw me on my YouTube channel and he wanted to learn more about funding. I mentioned to him about term loans and lines of credit and how he can use this money without any limitations. And lo and behold, he managed to qualify for about $200,000. With this particular money, what he was able to do is he was able to purchase a pharmacy that was currently on sale. It was a mom and pop pharmacy, but keep in mind this gentleman had pretty good credit. He had pretty good income because he was already a pharmacist at a Walmart, if I'm not mistaken. When he approached me, we managed to raise $200,000 that goes strictly into his bank account, his personal bank account. With that money, he purchased the business. Once the business was under his name, he was able to take other types of loans such as SBA loans and some other business loans that were strictly based on their revenue. Keep in mind this was an existing business, so fortunately, because he didn't own it yet, we weren't able to leverage the business revenues yet. But now when we gave him the $200,000 in order for him to purchase that business, that allowed him to put his name under that business, and then he was able to leverage that. When he was able to leverage that income and that revenue that was already being provided by that business, he refinanced every single loan that we gave him for the full $200,000. Today, I can go ahead and proudly say that he owns $1 million business and it's free and clear of any debt. So that is just one type of story when it comes to purchasing a business. There's so many different ways of doing that. If you have access to cash, of course you can do it through an investor. You could also do it through angel investors. Sometimes the stipulations may put a bit of a bind on what you can and can't do with the money. So term loans and lines of credit, very flexible. Sometimes I recommend them, sometimes I don't, because if you do have other options, of course we want to go with the best options. But the other success story is a personal friend of ours. He's currently here in Chicago. He was just tired of the whole 9-to-5 type of job. He wanted to go into real estate investment, and we managed to raise about $100,000 for him in cash through as well term loans and lines of credit. With him, he was able to secure 2 properties because we put our hard money loans in front of him, and with our hard money loans, we were able to provide 80% of the purchase price plus 100% of the rehab costs. So that means that for each of those 2 properties, he would only need to come up with 20% per property. Well, the $100,000 was more than enough to cover that 20% on each property. Because these are 2 different programs, we put them together and essentially he's getting 100% financing. He's getting 80% from our hard money loan department and 100% of the rehab, which doesn't come up till later on, of course, once he purchased the property, but he gets that 80%. And then we come over through the term loans and lines of credit. We give him 20% of this, and now you have 100% of it financed simply with your credit and your income, or in this case, this gentleman's credit and this gentleman's income. And today, he's actually going on his 6th property within a year. Super excited. I'm really happy because keep in mind, it's not me putting the success and these stories. It's each individual's own success, because all I can do is give you access to capital. You can go get capital from anywhere else, but at the end of the day, you have to be the one that knows exactly what you're doing with that money, and you have to really be able to ask a lot of questions so that you can strategize and be able to get access all of the different ways you can monetize on that smaller amount. You give a millionaire $100,000 and that person will know what to do in order for it to turn it into another million or so. The other success story that I would like to share is another real estate investor that we were able to do similar to these other gentlemen. We were able to secure $600,000 in a hard money loan, and with the $600,000 we were also able to secure 100% of the rehab. Now when it comes to hard money loans, there is a bit of a limit that you can do because it is based on the asset, but if you know how to maneuver some of these programs, you'll be able to put them in a way where you can do a blanket loan. So if you have multiple properties that you would like to finance, you can actually put them all together and have a lump sum of cash, which is one of the things that we ended up doing with this gentleman. So there's many different ways for you to creatively get access to money. And the other gentleman that we've helped is somebody that was looking to get access to cannabis funding. As you know, cannabis is a very picky topic when it comes to being able to provide money because it's still regulated. Again, it may be legal in states, but federally I believe it's still illegal as of now. Either way, keep in mind that there's programs out there where we can give you access to capital through term loans, lines of credit, and that's giving you money based on your income, based on your credit, which allows you to be able to maneuver that to any type of investments that you like. We've had clients that have put this money to use to purchase Amazon stores. We had people purchase businesses, trucks, if they're a trucking company. We have people purchasing full-blown real estate with this money and being able to refinance it later and just either pay back the loans or simply reuse the money again so that you can get access to even more properties. So there's so many different ways to be able to have access to capital. The other way that I would also highly recommend you leveraging your credit is being able to have business credit cards. Even though it does show up under your business 100%, keep in mind that it is very important for you to open up these accounts because it does not reflect under your personal credit. Many of you guys already know that, but for those of you guys that don't, whenever you have a business line of credit, you're building your Dun & Bradstreet number, which ultimately will replace your social security number in a way, because you won't have to use that on applications. If you're looking to purchase any type of equipment or maybe even a vehicle, later on you can go strictly just based on the EIN number and not have to put in your social at all. So there's so many different ways for you to leverage that as well. A couple things that you want to go over is that when it comes to having access to money, it is important for you to know exactly what you're going to use it for. You want to be able to have at least some sort of a business plan. Some of these programs do not require business plans, but it doesn't mean that you shouldn't have one. I believe that you definitely want to be prepared. You want to go as if you were going to war. You want to put in your gear, your equipment, anything that you may need in order for you to win the fight. And that's where you come in with your business goals, your vision, your mission, your mentors. You want to have people around you that you can ask questions, and don't be afraid of reaching out to individuals that you may consider them super successful, because we all started that way, including us. If you have a question, feel free to reach out to us. Anything that we can do to help, really. At the end of the day, we're here as together entrepreneurs so that we can help each other out. And having said that, you guys, this is Jose Baeza here with another episode about creative financing and how you can use money so that you can actually extend the funds at the end of the day. Go ahead and stay tuned for the next episode. Again, this is Jose Baeza. I'll see you in the next video.